Crocodile attacks family during vacation. Lifelong lesson. The Jones family had long dreamed of a tropical vacation. After months of planning, they chose a cozy resort on the banks of a river in one of the southern countries. The place seemed ideal: dense jungle, crystal clear water, and exotic nature. However, they did not suspect that their dream of a vacation would turn into a nightmare that would change their lives forever. On the third day of their vacation, the parents, Emily and Michael, decided to have a picnic on the riverbank. Their children, 10-year-old Jacob and 7-year-old Sophia, happily supported the idea. They found a picturesque place under the shade of a huge tree where the river was calm and the water seemed safe. Another family was relaxing next to them. Their neighbors at the hotel, spouses James and Sarah with their 12-year-old son Ethan. The children quickly became friends and began to play together. While the adults laid out food and discussed plans for the next days, the children played at the edge of the water. Jacob, curious and brave, decided to go closer to the river to examine the unusual plants on the bank. Sophia followed her brother, holding her favorite toy, a rubber duck. Ethan, who was older and more confident, suggested playing daredevils, who would go further into the water. The children, carried away by the game, did not notice how they found themselves dangerously close to the water. Suddenly, a loud splash broke the silence. A huge crocodile emerged from the water like a torpedo. Its powerful jaws closed on the rubber toy that Sophia accidentally dropped into the water. The girl screamed in horror and jumped back, but the crocodile, sensing the movement, rushed towards her. Michael, hearing the scream, instantly rushed to the children. He grabbed Sophia and pulled her away from the water, but the crocodile was already too close. Jacob, trying to protect his sister, grabbed a stick and started waving it at the predator. Emily called the emergency services in a panic, but she knew that help might not come right away. James, Ethan's father, also rushed to help. He grabbed his son and tried to pull him away from the water, but the crocodile, enraged by the noise and movement, made a sharp jerk. Its powerful jaws closed on James's leg. The man screamed in pain, trying to break free, but the crocodile had already started dragging him into the water. Sarah, seeing her husband struggling with the predator, rushed to him, but Michael stopped her, realizing that it was too dangerous. Jacob, despite his young age, continued waving the stick, trying to distract the crocodile. Ethan, watching what was happening in horror, froze in place, unable to move. The crocodile, feeling resistance, let go of James and made another dash towards the family. Michael, without thinking, threw a heavy stone at him, which happened to be lying nearby. The blow hit the predator right in the head, and he froze for a moment. This was enough for the family to run to a safe distance. However, James was seriously injured. His leg was almost torn off, and he was losing consciousness from pain and blood loss. Sarah, sobbing, tried to stop the bleeding using her clothes, but the wound was too serious. Emily continued to call the emergency services, begging them to hurry. A few minutes later, emergency workers and paramedics arrived at the scene. They quickly assessed the situation and began to provide first aid to James. However, his condition was critical. The paramedics did everything they could, but on the way to the hospital, James died from blood loss and shock. The Jones family and Sarah with Ethan were taken to the hospital for examination. Fortunately, they were not physically injured, but the shock of what they had experienced remained in everyone's memory for a long time. Ethan, who had witnessed his father's death, withdrew into himself, and Sarah could not come to terms with the loss of her husband. It later turned out that the crocodile was known to the locals. It had come close to people several times before, but had never attacked before. The resort authorities promised to tighten security measures, but this could not bring James back. The Jones family returned home with a heavy burden of memories. They were grateful to be alive, but the tragedy they had experienced had changed them forever. Emily and Michael became more cautious, and Jacob and Sophia, although too young to fully comprehend what had happened, forever remembered this day as a lesson in respect for nature. Sarah and Ethan stayed in the country for several weeks to organize James's funeral. Their lives will never be the same, but they found the strength to continue living to honor the memory of their husband and father. This story became a harsh reminder that nature can be both beautiful and deadly. And even in the most idyllic places, there is always room for tragedy.